Greetings, heroes. It is I, your friendly neighborhood Rabbi John Carrier, and this is Fun Friday Take Two. We had a citywide cable outage earlier today that took us a little bit off kilter for our Fun Friday episode, but I'm glad to be with you, just tuning up the unified chat. We're trying something new today where everybody who is tuning into this program, whether you're tuning in via Twitch or YouTube or Facebook, is able to join us in the chat, and I can read those chats simultaneously, and we're trying this out. So whether you are joining us on Twitch or on Facebook or on YouTube, feel free to say hi. Love to see who's joining us today. Ask whatever questions you want. This is another one of our Ask Me Anything sessions. Today we're speaking specifically about Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, these holidays you may know or may not know that are coming up, but a critical ability for people to exercise during this time of year is the ability to say that you are sorry. And sometimes we worry a little bit more about whether other people are saying they're sorry. And let's, we can't always control other people, but we can always control our own actions. So that's what we're going to talk about today on Fun Friday here on Twitch. I think I see Carla J here is welcome again from YouTube. Nice to see you, Carla. And let's go to the boards. What is going on here? And might as well show you my face. Let's see. Yep, that's it. Because it's Fun Friday, it's a little bit casual here at the Jew Curious show. I'm in my favorite Yoda versus Seagulls t-shirt and my gimme cap kippa. So I've got my ear goggles ready because we are going to play a little bit of Mario. But last time, when we went on earlier this morning, we got cut off before I could get to my main teachings today. So I'll probably front load that, and then we'll play Mario, have a little fun on Fun Friday here. If you're just tuning into this show for the first time, the Jew Curious show is all about being there to answer the questions for people who are, as I say, Jew curious. This could mean that you are Jewish. This could mean that you're not Jewish. Maybe you're not Jewish yet, but you're working on it. Maybe you're considering conversion or something like that. You might be totally devoted to another faith, but you're curious about the Hebrew roots of your own tradition. If any of these apply to you, or maybe you're a spiritual seeker just trying on different paths, you are in the right place. And I am happy to answer whatever questions you have about Judaism along the way. Feel free to type those into the chat, whether you're joining us on Twitch or on Facebook or on YouTube. We are simulcasting y'all. And in a little while, we'll get to the fun part of Fun Friday. All this is fun to me. But we'll get to the fun part, which is playing a little bit of Super Mario Odyssey, is our custom here. So feel free to say hello. I'm going to go look at my chat window and see Carla J is joining us from YouTube. Teresa Lithuanian says, hi, shalom from Cyprus. So we got SoCal, we got Cyprus, we are international. And Tater Tot 939 says hello again, is joining us on Twitch. So we got all of our platforms checking in. If you're watching us on Facebook, feel free to say hello so that we know this multi-chat thing works. In any case, the thing I wanted to focus on today is how to say I'm sorry. Now, it might seem simple, like just I'm sorry. That's two words, one's a contraction, so technically I guess it's three words. It's in English if you're a native English speaker or a skilled English speaker. I'm sorry. It's not that hard. But one thing I've noticed as I've been teaching about the high holidays for a number of years, and you should know, just as a preface, a big focus of these holidays, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, these are known as the Yamim Noraim, or the days of awesomeness, or the days of awe. And another name for this season is the Aseret Yamei Teshuvah, that is the 10 days of Teshuvah or repentance. Now, this is a critical skill for this time of year. It's considered that this is the time of year where the Holy One determines what kind of year we're going to have in the year to come. And so as we're preparing for that decision, it's worthwhile kind of clearing our conscience, examining our past deeds. What are some things that we maybe did in the past year that we're not proud of? Whether it's something that strained the relationship between us and God, whether it's something that strained the relationship between us and another human being. So what are some of the regrets that we have that we'd like to make up for? What are some ways that we would like to be better or different in the coming year? Not better than anybody else, but better than maybe we were in the past year ourselves. And so to do this, a critical skill is to be able to just get real honest with yourself about, okay, who have I hurt this year. Whether it's something that I did or something that I said, and how do I make up for that? Maimonides teaches that, all the fasting and praying and what have you on Yom Kippur will not get you forgiven for those things that you do to other people unless you try to make amends with those people. And so we might go into the Yom Kippur experience, not eating or drinking for 25 hours, some other restrictions on our behavior as well. We are, deeply regretful of the things that we did, and we're praying to God to forgive us. And God's like, look, if it's between you and me, and this is just Maimonides, I'm not quoting God, hasn't talked to me in that way. Maimonides says that, okay, God will say, okay, I'll forgive you for those things between you and me, John. I'll forgive you for those things between you and me. Maybe I ate a shrimp by mistake or on purpose, accidentally. I'm not saying I did, but just in case. Maybe my Shabbos wasn't as restful as it could have been. Maybe I checked my work email a little bit before sundown. Those things that God cares about, but don't affect another person. Now, Yom Kippur fasting and the day itself can atone for those sins between me and God, but Maimonides says that you cannot atone with God for something that you did with somebody else, right? Or rather, God will not forgive those transgressions against another person until you seek forgiveness from that person sincerely and attempt to make amends, and that person forgives you. Then, and only then, will God take into consideration, forgiving you for that thing you did to somebody else. And so it's critically important to be able to have that kind of introspection this time of year, be really honest with, okay, who did I hurt in the past year? Reach out to that person, say, I did this thing, it hurt you, and I'm sorry I did that thing. Is there a way that I can make it up to you? And I really resolve not to do that thing again. That's what's called a sincere apology. It's not like one of these kind of drive-by apologies like, if I hurt you, I'm sorry, bye. Or I'm sorry you felt that way about what I did. What I did was fine, but I'm sorry that, you're so insensitive that you're upset about that or something like that. That's an example of a bad apology. The reason I wanted to bring this up is because often when I'm teaching around the high holidays and I'm teaching about asking for forgiveness and giving forgiveness, and I've taken several informal polls on this, and will weigh in with my own experience. Sometimes saying I forgive you is actually way harder than saying I'm sorry, right? You can accept the things that you did and you take responsibility for the things that you did, but sometimes giving somebody forgiveness, even when they're apologizing sincerely, is tough, right? You might think that, well, if I forgive them, then they're off the hook, right? They didn't really suffer the way I think they should have suffered, or I'm not teaching. I'm not going to teach them a lesson if I forgive them easily, or worse, like maybe if I say I forgive you, I'm saying what you did to me is okay, right? And maybe it wasn't. So a lot of times people have a hard time forgiving others. And so I'll teach about that, how hard it is to forgive and why you should do it anyway in another broadcast. What I really wanted to say is I want you to worry less this year. This is just my recommendation to you. I want you to worry less about demanding an apology this year than giving one. Because when I give talks on forgiveness and apology and things like that, I always get the question, well, what if somebody did something to me and they don't know it's wrong? Or, how can I forgive them if they're continuing to hurt me and they're not contrite about it at all? Do I have a responsibility to tell them they're hurting me? Well, yes, you do. You have a responsibility to let them know. There's a passage on the Tochacha in the Torah. It says, if you see somebody, making an error that's harming other people or harming you, or just is making an error or doing a sin, as we use in older language, you have a responsibility to say something to them so that they can stop doing that thing. And if you see something and you don't say something, as the saying goes, then you bear some responsibility for their continued error. So it's true that you are responsible for letting somebody know when they're hurting you or hurting somebody else. However, I want to encourage you to take a different tack this year. And I want you to consider focusing more on what can I do to say I'm sorry than informing other people that they're responsible for saying I'm sorry. And the thing is, if you do this, you may actually accomplish both. If you focus on, okay, what have I done this year that I'm responsible for? And I reach out to people and say, I'm sorry I did that thing. Not, I'm sorry you felt this way about that thing that I did, but I'm sorry I did this thing. And name it, right? Maimonides says that, when you confess your sins, you should enumerate them, right? Don't just say, I'm sorry for all the bad things I did, right? That's a start. But you should say, I'm sorry that I backed into your car and didn't leave a note, right? I'm sorry that I lost my temper when we were having a discussion about something that I'm passionate about, and I maybe called you a name, or I accuse you of having bad motivations, when really I was just upset that it wasn't going my way, and I let my temper get the best of me. Acknowledge the thing that you did. A couple of years ago, there was somebody that I had an argument with, and her feelings were really hurt by some things that I said. And so in that space between, I think it was, kind of out in the hallway during Rosh Hashanah services, I said to her, I'm sorry. And I assumed that she knew that what I was sorry for, because this was really the only thing that we were upset about with each other. And I said, I'm sorry. And she said, for what? I was like, I'm sorry I said the things that I said, and listed them that I know hurt you, and I'm very sorry for that. And so she made me come out with it, but that was actually the best thing to do. And then she knew that it wasn't just like a blanket apology, it wasn't a half apology. I was very clear about, I did this thing, I know it was wrong, I'm sorry that it hurt you. I'd love for us to, mend that relationship so I can make it up to you, or we can move forward from this. But I got really specific about it. So in the coming year, in this coming season of the Aseret Yemei Teshuvah, these are the 10 days of repentance that start with Rosh Hashanah and end with Yom Kippur. Focus less on the people that you're angry with because of what they did to you, and focus on mending those fences with the people that you hurt. And if you do this, you set an example, right? Rather than telling someone they should apologize to you, you're modeling repentant behavior. And if you model that behavior, that person may see you and say, you know what? If you're big enough to do that, then I'm big enough to apologize for what I did. Or somebody who, didn't do anything to you, they may say, you may say you're sorry to somebody and say, I'm sorry I did this thing. I'd like to make it up to you. And they'll say, you know what? I accept your apology. We're good. And then they could turn around and use that example, inspired by your act of courage, and then go make amends to people that they hurt. Right? You could be increasing kindness in the world just by focusing on communicating what you're sorry about. And so that's what that's the sort of kavanah, or the intention that I want to put out this year, is that I'm going to worry about the stuff that I'm responsible for. I'm going to model that in public. And if there's anybody I owe an apology to, then that said, feel free. If I've upset you, please let me know. Those people I know who I've upset, I will be reaching out to. I'm sorry that I have a system that didn't work this morning. We had a Fun Friday broadcast. The cable went down. I didn't have any control over that. But I'm sorry that kept us from talking to each other, that kept us from learning, that I played Mario for like a good half an hour before I got to the real lesson. And so that I am responsible for. And so I'm trying to make it up to you by having another broadcast and giving this lesson. So anything that I was about to do the bad thing. What's the bad thing? So there's a thing you'll see in the high holidays sometimes where somebody gets up, might be some speaker at the high holidays, or the rabbi, or the cantor, or the synagogue president, or the gabbai, or somebody that says, if I offended anybody in this room, please accept my apology. And that's good as far as it goes, but you really need to make that effort to reach out to people one-on-one if possible. So I do this in the name of a teacher of mine, Abby Pfeiffer Mandel, who I got to learn a lot of skills as a rabbi from. She's not a rabbi, but she's an incredible teacher working in like the nonprofit innovation space. And she said a couple of years ago, around this time of year, I feel like we've gotten really bad in this country at saying two things. One is, I'm sorry, and the other is, I forgive you. We're more likely to say, okay, I'm right about everything. Me and my friends that agree with me are going to go over here, and I'm going to assume, if you disagree with me, that you're over there with all the other people that I disagree with, and we're just going to duke it out or not talk to each other. And if you don't think I'm right about this, check Twitter. So, or check some chats on some live streams once in a while. But this happens, and us being polarized like this is not going to help us make any forward progress. It's not going to change anybody's mind. It's not going to help us grow by learning something that we don't know from people that we disagree with. And so my goal this year is to help as many people as possible to close that gap. And I think key to closing that gap is first and foremost taking responsibility for the relationships in your life, taking responsibility for those relationships that you've impaired, and learn to apologize, and learn to apologize specifically and sincerely. And if you do, first off, that's a good thing. Second, I think you're going to inspire other people to take that same kind of action, and we're going to take these poles and move them closer together. So that's what I wanted to get across today. With that, we're going to get into some Mario here in just a second. I want to check what's in the chat feed. This is the first time we're doing a multi-platform chat stream. So we've got people from YouTube and people from Twitch. I don't see any Facebooks out there, but I know you're there and I love you. So we've got Carla J is here, Teresa Litherland is here from Cyprus. Heather Schneider is saying hello from Chicago. Nice to see you, Heather. Nawa 64 is back again. Shalom again, y'all. Nice to see you. Yom Tov L'Kulam, says Diwalexin. TaterTot939 says, I have a question. Let's say someone caused someone harm years ago and they no longer want any contact whatsoever with the person who harmed them. What obligation does the person who harmed them have to apologize? Especially if trying to get back in contact them would, especially if trying to get back in contact with them would upset them. I'm thinking, for example, like an abusive parent whose adult child has cut them out of their life, or a similar situation. So this is kind of a tricky area, and this is falls into the category of, well, here are the sort of the standard rules for reaching out and apologizing to someone, but then there are exceptions based on extreme examples. And if reaching, you should make an honest effort to reach out to that person and make amends. If that person is very clear that just any kind of contact will further hurt them, you need to take their word for it. Now, Maimonides sets a principle, if you're trying to make amends with somebody, you need to first try to reach out to them privately. And this has, first off, it's easier to reach out privately than publicly, because he also says if they don't accept a private apology, you're supposed to bring other people with you and make a public apology. However, we also have a principle of not humiliating people or causing people distress unnecessarily. So if you can send them a one-way message and say, like, look, I would really like to apologize to you. I understand that you don't want to hear from me, and that maybe talking with me is painful right now, but I want you to know that I'm here to make my apology. If you could do this by mail or by email or some way that, they can kind of take it asynchronously, because I think that also shows some sensitivity and some humanity to their situation, especially when we get into cases like abuse, whether it's physical or psychological or sexual. Sometimes the thing that person, the victim, needs to do is unplug, right? And that further contact could cause harm. So my advice for somebody who's in this situation that they need to make amends for that, kol hakavod to you for attempting to make amends. That means high five, all the honor on you. But if making those amends, and if you know this for a fact, you're not just assuming that, oh, I would apologize, but they'll just be embarrassed or hurt or something. If they've, that may or may not be true. They may be waiting for you to talk to them. But if there's a way that you can send them a message that avoids any kind of, let's say, painful contact, but just send them a message, email, voicemail, send them a letter or something like that saying, I am sorry for what I did. I understand that communicating with me might cause you pain or humiliation, and I don't want to do that, but I just want you to be clear that I regret what I did. I would like to make amends when you are ready. And I think having done that, you have discharged your responsibilities as best you can. And this is another thing that often comes up when I'm talking about tshuva and apology and forgiveness, is there are some things that are pretty hard to forgive. And that's, it's not just like everything is just I'm sorry and I forgive you and that's easy. It's not. And some things are really, really, really difficult to forgive. And only the person who was harmed can legitimately do that forgiving. I do want to encourage people to be quick to forgive, if at all possible, if not for the sake of absolving that person, for your own being able to psychologically let go of that event. And we'll talk more about that on another stream. But if you can make a sincere effort in a way that doesn't harm the person worse that you're trying to make amends with, make that effort, but also respect their decision that the safest thing physically or psychologically for them is to not talk to you right now. And I know that's painful and it makes it hard, but you need to respect their decision in that regard. So now with 64, we have similar situation with an adult child, don't even know what we did. And her dad has apologized for everything known and she won't communicate at all. We keep trying, but get shut down. We need healing for the relationship and for her, but really can't in the current situation. So my advice is, with some, occasional regularity, reach out, just ping that person, say, we'd like to amend the relationship. If you're open to that, please let us know. But then respect that person's decision for distance. Sometimes things are broken that can't be mended, or at least not right away. And that's the hardest kind of patience to have. But I would just encourage people to have patience. Just you can really only improve your own behavior. You can't improve other people's behavior. You can't make people listen to you who have decided not to listen to you, but you can model yourself being a person who is not only quick to make amends, but also quick to forgive. And if you model forgiveness in your life, and even, maybe make a declaration like, I'm upset that our relationship can't be mended this time. I forgive you that you're not talking to me. And that person may get upset that you're forgiving them for something that they feel like they didn't do. But just model forgiving behavior in general in your life. And God willing, they see that. And maybe that'll warm them up to it as well. So that's what I'd like to suggest. Rolando B is coming in from YouTube. Shalom Aleichem, everyone. Aleichem Shalom, Rolando B. It's so nice to be able to chat with everybody at once. And with that, I'm going to wake up Mario. Mario's been snoozing here. And I think first thing we're going to do today is give Mario a costume change. You'll see what I mean in just a minute. Going to put on the ear goggles. Got to Shana Amar, great Jewish musicians, the Beastie Boys. Got my ear goggles and I'm ready to go. On the boards is my man we call Mario. I wish I was a little quicker on the edit here. There's my man Mario. So I got my ear goggles on. That's what I want to teach you today. Is all about being quick to say that you're sorry. Be specific about saying that you're sorry. And let's see if the Mario music is too loud here. Yeah, be quick to apologize. Be specific in who you need to apologize to, and work on yourself before you expect an apology from anyone else. Next time, maybe on Monday or next Friday, we'll talk more about how to forgive people when that's hard for you, and it's almost always hard for you, or at least I'll speak about myself. It's hard for me. Like I've got what the Pirkei Avot calls a Rasha nature, someone who is quick to anger. You might not know this about me. I'm just going to lay it all out here. I have what I would call a short fuse and a long memory. Generally quick to anger and slow to forgive, and the Pirkei Avot says that makes me a Rasha, a wicked person, and I'm working on it, gang. So we all have stuff we're working on. So Mario, wake up. Mario's been wearing a serape for way too long now, and so we're gonna go. Now that we're in the city, we're gonna go change our duds. That's good move juice. So now we are in here. We're gonna talk to the lady in the hat. And so this is, if you're just joining us for the first time, you may wonder, why am I talking about Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah and forgiveness and playing Super Mario Odyssey? That's just how we roll on the Jew Curious Show. We have fun on Fun Fridays. So the first thing I want to do, let's see, we have all these outfits that cost city money, and I don't have enough city money. I need at least 5 city coins, and I only have 2. So let's see what we can do. Is there a wardrobe change place that we can go to? Maybe we just go this way to the next place. Oh, look at that. They're right conjoined there. Let's see. Maybe I should buy a Mayor Pauline statue. Let's go to the wardrobe here. Captain Mario. Get a Serape. Okay, I'm just going to go Mario Classic on this one. I think later on, maybe I'll get a snazzy suit. Ta-da! Looks like Mario now. Well, it looks like Mario in, his plumber outfit. But I want to see. I think there's some fancy city clothes that I want to get maybe a little bit later. So we've got the builder helmet, builder outfit. Let's see. Okay. Maybe when I collect some city coins, I'll come back for a new outfit. I'm just going to go back and check the multi-chat here. So now that, kind of got across the main thing I wanted to get across today before the cable went out, I would like to throw it open. This is an Ask Me Anything session. What's going on here? So this is an Ask Me Anything session. Feel free to ask me anything. We're going to play, whoop, just fell in the hole. We're going to play Mario for a little bit, and I'll answer what other questions come on the chat. Got a question from Rolando B. My father passed 5 years ago. Can I put his name on the Yizkor for Yom Kippur if he's not Jewish? If you're Jewish, you absolutely can. So one of my rabbis taught me many years ago that Jewish mourning practices are for Jewish people who are in mourning, meaning, if you are mourning a family member who's not Jewish, and you are Jewish, you can still follow Jewish mourning practices. And this is, when my brother passed away a few years ago in a car accident, my rabbi reached out to me right away, and he says, first of all, I'm sorry for your loss. And second, what is going on here? And second, he said, in case you're wondering, you absolutely can say Kaddish for your brother and sit Shiva and do all the traditional things. So that is absolutely true. If you're Jewish and you want to put somebody on the Yizkor list, go right ahead and do that. So let's see. I'm trying to get all these many moons here. So I hope that answers your question, Rolando B. You absolutely may put your father on the Yizkor list at your synagogue. So let's see. Casey Dixon, sorry to hear the cable went out. Glad we're back. Joining us from Facebook, it looks like, so it works there too. All right, got to get through this. We'll all get through this together. Whoop. So sorry, Mr. Fire-breathing plant guy. Whoop. Whoop. Trying to get all the mini moons here. If I get all the mini moons, I get I guess a maxi moon, whatever you call that. Got some hearts, which is nice. Whoop. Ta-da! All right, now I just got to get out of this little maze. As the band Fish might say, got to get out of this maze. And away we go. All right, Tater Tot says there's an extra moon outside the maze too. Is that true? Extra moon outside the maze? Where are we going here? Boop. Oh, there's one down there. How do I get there? I wonder. All right, there must be a way to get out there. Let's see, try jumping from the top of the outside, maybe. There's a few tricks to do extra jumps. I think there's a lid on this thing. Yeah, it looks like there's a lid. Yep, there's a lid stopping me, so what I'm going to have to do is some kind of super jump. Ding 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 ding. Woohoo! Good tip, tater tots. 9:39. Now I just got to get back out of this place. Whee! All right. This is one of my favorite games for the Switch. Thank you so much. Always glad to get tips from people. Why do some people leave during the Yizkor portion of the service? Really good question for Yom Kippur. You'll see this a lot. This is I believe it is an Ashkenazi minchag. That means those are two words that aren't usually used in the English language. Ashkenazi meaning Jews from sort of European or Northern Eastern European extraction. And minhag means custom, so sorry to use a sora ismus, but the custom among Jews of Eastern Europe, I think, which is most of the Jews in I'll say the United States or North America, about 80% of Jews in North America have Ashkenazi descent, came over from first Germany and then like Russia, Poland, that part of the world in the mid 19th to early 20th centuries, and so that's what a lot of the prevailing custom is here. So there's a custom that if your parents have not passed away, then you should leave during Yizkor. And again, this isn't a Jewish law necessarily. This is a custom. And so Yom Kippur, the day when you will probably see more people at synagogue than any other single day of the year, you might be in a room with like 1,000 people, and then the Yizkor service happens, usually around the Torah service on Yom Kippur morning, that a big group of people will leave for the duration of Yizkor, or you might even see a lot of people come in during Yizkor. And so Yizkor is a memorial prayer service. This is a time, we do it 4 times a year. If you've lost anyone in your family, one of these first order relatives, we say like 7 first order relatives, mother, father, sister, brother, God forbid, son, daughter, or spouse. If one of these first order relatives has passed away, then you will be, those same kind of people you said Shiva for and say prayers during Yartzeit for. But the Yizkor service is something that happens 4 times a year on Yom Kippur, which again is when most people are going to synagogue, but also on the last day of Passover, Shavuot, and Sukkot. So this is a sort of a mini service within the Torah service where memorial prayers are said. And it is an Ashkenazi custom that if you have not lost someone in one of these 7 categories, especially your parents, then you might leave during the Yizkor service. I believe this is based on a superstition that says, okay, if my parents are alive and I say Yizkor, then God forbid something may happen to my parents. And so there are some things that we do based on sort of superstitions, or just because it's the custom of our community. And so because this is a custom and not law, and I think that everybody present should see what a Yizkor service is all about, and also be present for those who are in mourning, I encourage people to stay, personally. And whenever I introduce the Yizkor service, I'll say, if it's your custom to leave during Yizkor, this is the time to do so. However, if you'd like to stay, you are also welcome to stay, right? If it's not your custom to leave during Yizkor, then you are more than welcome to stay here and support those who are here who are in mourning. And so that's why it's done. And different communities have different customs about this. So if you want to follow the custom of your community and leave during Yizkor, go ahead. If you want to see what Yizkor is all about, you are permitted to stay. Let's see. Am I looking around here? Okay, what am I doing here? Whoop, that. Whoop. Oh, very close. Need some of those city coins to get some city clothes. Oh, now I see what I can do. Oh, look at that. Let's see. Got Army Brat 130, 173. Sorry, my distance vision isn't too good. Miriam here had a similar question. If in synagogue, the rabbi asks everyone to stand who is mourning someone who has a yard site coming up, can you start if you are not Jewish? I'm of the sort of lenient position on this, that if you are preparing to be Jewish, if you're sort of on the a lot of people, so this covers a lot of different things. People ask me, can I wear a tallis if I'm not Jewish? Can I put on tefillin if I'm not Jewish? If you have no plan of being Jewish, I discourage people from taking on, let's say, Jewish things who are not planning on being Jewish. It's for me, it feels a little bit like cultural appropriation. This happens a lot. There's a lot of Christians who feel like they might feel closer to Jesus if they take on Jewish practices, even if they're not committing to being a part of the Jewish people. I discourage that. However, if you are preparing for conversion and you're sincerely, planning to convert to Judaism, and you want to practice the mitzvot, I encourage practicing the mitzvot in that spirit, sort of l'shem hinuch, or for the sake of education. So if you want to get accustomed, in that way, once you are Jewish, then you know how to do these things right out of the gate. You know how to put on a tallis. Now the exception might be is you don't want to give people necessarily the impression that you're Jewish if you're not, specifically when it comes to making a minyan. So just to back up, Miriam, I'll say for the most part, yes, if you want to say the prayers to practice the prayers, that's fine. Except maybe if you're in a prayer space that has, let's say, 9 other people in it, and they are trying to make minyan, meaning they need 10 Jewish people present, it's best not to mislead people that you are Jewish if they're trying to get to 10. If there are more than that many there, or if you're in a position where people are counting for minyan and they say, "Oh, Miriam, you're Jewish because I see you saying, Kaddish," then it's the polite thing to do is let them know I'm practicing these things for when I become Jewish. I'm not, necessarily counting in the minyan yet. So that's what I'll say. If you are sincerely planning on becoming Jewish and you want to do these things, go right ahead, for practice. Unless doing so would sort of mislead people who need to know whether you're Jewish or not. So I hope that's a helpful answer for you. Naya Shashi says, "OMG, so happy to see all of you. Happy Fun Friday, fam." Rabbi, great question. Let's see. Just want to answer some questions real quick. Army Brat 173 says, "How come some people talk to each other during the Torah portion? I thought you were supposed to keep your eye on the Torah as it goes around." You can't stop people from socializing. That's true. As I will often encourage people to have a holy frame of mind. And I'll say it this way: like you can't stop, Jews from gossiping because we're just like everybody else. Or what's the saying that I love? Jews are just like everybody else, only more so. But it's okay. People are going to socialize. You're not going to be able to stop that. If you can, it's good not to have your back to the Torah. So you don't have to have your eyes, burrowed into it the whole time. But if the Torah is going around, make sure you're standing up. Try not to turn your back to the Torah if at all possible. Just sort of be, kind of swivel facing it as it goes by. If you want to say hello to somebody, the shul is not just a Beit Tefillah, a house of prayer. It's also a Beit Knesset, a house of gathering and community. So I think it's actually critical to, be able to form those connections. I don't encourage gossip necessarily, but it's okay to talk to people and just try to do so in a way that's not completely indecorous in this situation. I hope that answers your question. Rabbi, any word yet on if your Jew-curious students can watch the live stream services at your shul? So Nawa64, thank you for asking this question. I have an answer. It's not the answer that I wanted to give you, but right now, people have been asking me this because I'm a rabbi at a synagogue right now, Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center. They do not endorse this broadcast, so this isn't an official production of theirs, but I just want to say that's where I pray on a regular basis and sometimes give sermons. And that's where I'll be celebrating the High Holy Days. I let people know they are in the process of offering live streaming of their services. However, I've been informed that it's not quite there yet. And so if you're looking for services to live stream during the High Holy Days, maybe you don't live close to a synagogue, or maybe you have like some kind of life-saving work, like you're an EMT or something, and you just can't be at services, but you'd like to see them later. If that's what you desire to do, there are places that are live streaming their services this year. If anybody has a specific place that they recommend, go ahead and throw that in the chat. But Pasadena is not one of those places at this time. So the equipment's there, the software's in place, but it's not going to be ready for public live streaming this year. That's what I've been told. Breaks my heart because I really wanted people to kind of hear my sermons, who wanted to hear my sermons. Whatever sermons I give, I'll be releasing the text of those after the holidays. So sorry that's not going to work out, but I just found that out this week, and I wanted to let you guys know on this broadcast. I said it earlier on our broadcast, but thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, so if people are putting this, so Army Brad, if people are Miriam, if people are putting their back to the Torah, I would say model good behavior, and or if you're going to talk to somebody while you're facing the Torah. And when people see you do that, maybe they'll say, "Oh, Miriam's pretty serious about this. I think I'm going to do that too." All right, let's see. I'm going to kick the football. Let's see. Boo! Oh. I think I still have to find one more musician. I don't know where that musician is. Let's see. Kay Dixie saying, no, I was glad you could rejoin us. Let's see. Is there a musician over there? Now that I'm up at a high vantage point, I'm going to see. I think I have to find one more musician for this band. Anybody? Oh, is that it? I see somebody playing an instrument over there. Boo! Go on, Mario. Woo! Hop in a cab. Boosh! There he is. KG Wilcox. Hey, KG's coming in from Philadelphia area. Says Temple Sholem or Shalom. Temple Sholem. People say that different ways. In Broomall Reform will be streaming on live stream and Facebook. So there's a recommendation. Let's see. Army Brat 173 says, what if you pronounce words with an S instead of a T? If you're chanting from the Torah, would you get corrected? For Aliyah. If we're talking about chanting from the Torah versus saying the blessings, it really goes to what your custom is, and that is so. What Miriam's talking about, there are let's say ethnic or regional variations in the pronunciation of Hebrew, where some people say, for example, Shabbat, and some people say Shabbos, and Shabbos is more of an older Ashkenazi pronunciation, whereas kind of standard Israeli Hebrew will have a Shabbat instead of a Shabbos. And so many people who learn how to read the Torah from people who pronounce Hebrew in this way will pronounce an S sound instead of a hard T sound, like Kisavo as this week's Torah portion, or Kisetze instead of Kitetze, which was last week's Parsha. So if you do it kind of accidentally, you may get corrected. Sometimes the T is a hard T sound, and whichever way you're doing it, just be consistent. And hopefully the Gabbai is somebody who will understand. That is, the person who follows along and corrects people as if they mispronounce something in the Torah. You might get corrected, you might not. That really goes to the custom of the place and the particular Gabbai who's checking your work as you read Torah. But if it's really a saf, if it's a tet that doesn't have a negation in it or a mapik in it, it's your practice to make it a s sound instead of a t sound, then that is legitimate. And if your gabbai is aware of that, they may not correct you. So that's really something to negotiate with the person who's checking your Torah reading. Let's see. Kay Dixie says, needs bits to hire one more musician. Hey, what's up, friend? You're looking to score an autograph? Say, I've heard about you. You're going around getting musicians to play with the mayor for the festival. I got that right? Well, for the gig rates the mayor pays, I'm definitely in. Oh, that sounds good. All right, so if anybody's watching on Twitch and you want to throw us some bits because we found all 4 musicians, this is a way that you could cheer people on Twitch if you're watching us there. It costs you a little bit of money, it throws a little bit of money our way, but then we can invest in equipment that hopefully doesn't fail when the cable goes out. So, Woolen Bullet, good to see you here, is on Twitch. I was asked to fulfill the high holiday honor of opening and closing the Ark on Yom Kippur, and I'm super nervous given how many people will be present. I opened and closed the Ark last Sukkot and felt like I was just bumbling around, not really sure of the choreography. Got any insider tips on how to look like a pro and feel confident while up on the bima? You will probably have people there guiding you, and just listen to them. And the thing is, like, I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Somebody asked me to do, many years ago, I was studying in Israel. I was still working on my Hebrew. I was at a Rosh Hashanah service with like a very Hasidic group of folks, and this guy came to me. He's like, "Would you like to do paticha?" And I'm like, "What's paticha? Like, sounds delicious. Like, what is that? Gesundheit." He says, "No, you just open in the Ark." And in this place, they were actually doing Rosh Hashanah services in like a borrowed classroom. It was like a classroom of a school that was closed that day because it was Rosh Hashanah. And for an Ark, they just had the Torah in the corner with like a curtain over it, and all it was like taking this like tapestry off of a hook, and that was opening the Ark. So I had no idea what I was doing, but the guy's like, "This is foolproof. I will walk you through it." Just if somebody asks you to do that, say, "Yes, thank you. Please show me exactly how you want it done," and they'll show you. And you can't, it's opening and closing a door. You can't really screw it up. Just make sure you have an eye on the people who are on the bima. You might be in awe in that moment, and you'll be facing the Torah, so you might not see the person who's behind you going like this, right? Just open it when they tell you to open it. Keep an eye on folks to make sure you don't miss your cues. Close it when they tell you to close it, and you can't really mess it up. And so I know that you're there in front of people. Maybe it's your first time doing it, and you really don't want to mess it up. But there's really no messing up opening or closing the Ark. If somebody says it's time to open it or it's time to close it, listen to that person. But trust me when I say that, as nervous as you feel, nobody in that room of 1,000 people or 2,000 or 500 or 50 or whatever it is where you are, nobody else is worried about that. Nobody's looking at you like, "Man, I really hope he opens this right." So that those feelings, while legitimate, are totally inside in my experience. And so, you really are doing the community an honor. So just feel confident that they wouldn't ask you if they didn't think you could handle it. So just listen to the people. Say, if you're really nervous about it, ask to go to the synagogue ahead of time and say, "Can I practice open?" And they may say, "Why? It's opening a door." But just say, "Trust me, I'll feel way better if you let me practice it once." And if you practice it once and you do it right, just know on the day you're going to be fine. So I just encourage you to go into it Woolen Bullet with a full heart. Understand that you're doing an honor for the community. Pay attention to the leaders who are up there with you, whether it's a rabbi or a cantor or a gabbai or just a lay person who's helping out. Just listen to them. Open when they tell you to open, close when they tell you to close, and you will be just fine. And the second time is way easier, I'll put it that way. So Tater Tot 939 says, "My temple has an Erev Rosh Hashanah service as well as services in the morning and the first and second day of Rosh Hashanah. Do people typically go to all of these services?" No. So let me take it back. There are some people who typically go to all of those services. There are some people who typically don't, and it's just varied. I will say the first day Rosh Hashanah morning service is probably going to be the best attended of all of those services. Some people, especially with people with young kids who have definite schedules for meal times and bedtimes and things like that, or maybe elderly people who don't like to go out after dark or don't drive after dark, things like that. For whatever reason, you will probably have more people on the morning service of Rosh Hashanah than on the evening service of Rosh Hashanah. Then again, there are probably people who can go to the evening service but can't go to the morning service. So it varies, and some people will go on the first day and not so much the second day. So attendance is usually a little bit lighter on the second day. Some people feel like they can't take that much time off of work, so they go to the first day, not the second. Second day services tend to be a little bit more intimate experience. So if you can go to all services, I encourage you to. And especially if you've never been to services, check it out. Like, see how the evening service is different from the first day service. The second day service liturgically is exactly the same as the first day service. The readings might be a little different, but it's pretty much the same thing. But fewer people, for whatever reason, go to the second day service. So you might have a different mood. You might have a different kind of sermon, or sometimes on the second day, instead of giving a sermon, I will do like a text study session. Where I'll hand out text for people to study together, and we'll have a discussion because a smaller crowd is conducive to that. So we'll see. But if you can go to all three, go to all three. If you can't, feel free to pick and choose, do what's right for you, and you will see the largest attendance of all probably on Rosh Hashanah morning on the first day. So that's just a sociological observation on my part. Let's see what's up with Mayor Pauline. That's all the musicians we need. Thanks. I'm amazed at your persistence. You should consider running for public office. I don't know if I'd run against Mayor Pauline. She's got her hat's bigger than mine, and has a sharp-looking suit. Let's see. All right, everybody, if you're just joining us, this is the Jew Curious Show. It is Fun Friday, which means I'm answering Jewish questions while playing Super Mario Odyssey. We don't always play Super Mario Odyssey. We've been playing it for a while. Sometimes we play Overcooked or Splatoon. I like to keep it to family-friendly games. We don't do this every day, but just on Fun Fridays we do. So we're here to have fun and answer what questions you have. We need that thing to supply power to the festival. I don't suppose you're familiar with underground work, are you, Mario the Plumber? Kay Dixie says, I bought bits, but I can't get them to post. Interesting. I think that's a Twitch thing. Kay Dixie subscribed at Tier 1. They've subscribed for 3 months, currently on 3-month streak. Right on. This is, and I don't know if this has been everybody's, so I was kind of not paying attention. We need the underground power plant up and running to supply the festival. So now we got to go. We got this great band, but no power. Let's see if there's anything behind the scenes here. Oh, look at that. Anything over here? Now I need to go underground and supply power to the festival. Here on Twitch, there's this thing they do called September. And I'll say, if anybody's been thinking about subscribing on Twitch, if you're on the Twitch platform right now, there's a way to subscribe. And what that means is you pay a little bit of money, and then for a month, you don't have to watch any advertising on any of the videos that I do here on Twitch. And so if that's something you want to do, go right ahead and do it. And in September, I think the subscriptions are like half off. So it's like $2.50 instead of $5. So it helps support this channel and helps us invest in good equipment and things like that. Now, I'm going to talk to this guy, see if he can tell me where the power station is. Yes, I am looking for the power plant, sir. Might want to check out those big manhole covers, but you didn't hear that from me. Okay, where are the big manhole covers? This looks like, oh, that's a moon. Where are the, oh, look at that. There's a big manhole cover. Whoa, how'd you do that? Well, I have a magic hat, sir. Thank you for asking. Whee! I tell you what, this multi-chat is awesome. That way, I don't have to wait to see what people need. Uh-oh, that guy looks upset. Oh, and there's one of those goo-spitting plants. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. All right, something tells me this is going to be pretty annoying. Whoa. Gross. Whoop. Sorry, Mr. Plant. Uh-oh. Some of those icky exploding flies here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Whoop. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. What's up, maggots? Well, that's not cool. Now I'm down to 1 life here. Hopefully there's a heart. Yes, there is. Do 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 do. All right, I don't know how this is going to go over here, but I have a feeling it's going to be tricky. Whee! That did not go the way I wanted it to. All right, we will take that in stride. This is me practicing patience. I told you earlier, I've got to practice patience in my life. And nothing helps like a rousing game of Super Mario Odyssey. Oh, look at that. There's some little coins down there. I should get those. Will come in handy later. All right, I have enough for a nice fancy hat. Now I need enough for a suit. Might come away. Now I got enough for clothes. Now I just need enough for the hat and the clothes. Little pop-up screen there. Hope everybody's doing okay. If you're just joining us, this is the Jew Curious Show. This is a show where I answer what questions people have about Judaism, no matter where they're coming from. You can be Jewish, not. That's me working on my anger again. You could be Jewish, not quite Jewish yet. Maybe you're working on it, not Jewish at all, just curious about Jewish stuff. I'm happy to answer whatever questions you have. Boop, 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 boo-doo-doo-doo. You gotta let the thing come to you sometimes. Later, maggots. Well, let's leave that there in case I need it again later. We're just going to watch this guy to see how it works. Maybe it only goes over a few times. Sometimes you just have to watch and see how things work. Yep, that didn't work again. All right. Something about persistence. Sometimes you don't get things right the first several times you try it, so it's not a bad idea to keep trying. Yep, and sometimes rabbis are terrible at Super Mario Odyssey. But we need power for the festival, says Mayor Pauline, so I'm happy to help out. I'm civic-minded Mario. Alakazoo. Whoop! Oh, almost. Ah, can't get me there. Please wait till the rod comes to a complete stop. Okay then. Save that heart for later. Okay, I know there's a running feature on this. Hope everybody's doing okay, getting ready for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. We had a little bit of a broadcast earlier, a little lesson on how to say you're sorry, why to focus on that this year. Okay, so I'm going to practice my running. There's a way over to run faster. Oh, God, I thought I would get it early. Let's see. Hope everybody's doing okay here. I'm just going to check the stats on Twitch. Got some great stuff going on today. We have 8 viewers here right now. Go back into the multi-chat. Whatever questions you have about Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur, I am happy to answer them today. I'm also happy just to play Mario while my friends are watching. So, even though I'm not terribly good at it at this point. Alakazoo. It's going to hide under there. Let him go. All right, let's see. Somebody give me some love in the chat here. Let me know what you think about this program. Let me know what you think about the high holidays. Is this your first time celebrating the high holidays? Love to hear about that. If it's your first time celebrating the high holy days this year, feel free, if you wish, to say first time, y'all, in the chat. All right, this is the tricky part. First time, all right, Tater Tot 939. First time officially, Tater. Very cool. Yeah, there's nothing like the first time, especially if you celebrated them before and then you become Jewish, and then it's different. It's not exactly like it was all the other times. So this time, I'm going to hit that thing. I'm gonna. Yes, oh, so close. KG Wilcox says, I've been asked to speak on why I am Jewish. I was planning to mention that my grandmother was Jewish, but if it's broadcast, someone might find out my mother is Jewish by heritage. What should I do? So let's see. I want to address this carefully. KG Wilcox says, I'm going to read it one more time, make sure I understand. I've been asked to speak on why I am Jewish. I was planning to mention that my grandmother was Jewish, but if it's broadcast, someone might find out my mother is Jewish by heritage. What should I do? And KG Wilcox says, Mom is passing. And so, I think that's something that's a really personal question that I can't necessarily answer for you. If you say Mom is passing, as in passing as a Jewish person, even though she doesn't feel like she's Jewish, or if Mom is passing away, that's a different question altogether. I think it's important to respect the dignity of the people who might see it. And so it could be, why I am Jewish. If sharing the story of your family's heritage might embarrass your mother, I think we have this value of, kibud av v'em, honoring your parents, honoring your mother and father. If you tell it in a way that might upset your mother, then that's something to consider. And if you can, maybe talk to your mother about this and see how she feels about it. But there's other ways to take this topic, why I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish because I feel like it's a good way to live in the world, or it gives me strength in certain situations, or it helps me feel like a holy person and create more holiness in the world. There's lots of different ways you can take that. Sort of passing is a Protestant for social reasons. Okay, I see what you're saying. It's good to not out people who don't want to be outed. And I would say, talk to your mother about this. You could say, I've got some, I've got some Jewish heritage, and part of it is I feel connected to my heritage. Part of it is I feel connected to the values. I feel connected to what Torah teaches me and how it improves my life. Try to do it in a way that doesn't embarrass your mother, if at all possible. And you never know. Talk to your mother about this, and her answer may surprise you. So that would be my advice. It's important, a very important. People have heard me talk about this before. A very important Jewish value to me is not embarrassing other people. And so, if you could do it in a way that avoids that, I think that honors both your mother. It honors, the Jewish tradition that you feel proud of. So I would talk to your mother. Maybe she might have a different take on it than you would impute to her. So that's my advice. Let's see. KG Wilcox says, "Gee, talk to your mother is very Jewish and great advice. Thank you. I try to be both. I try to give good advice and also to be Jewish when I can be. Nobody's perfect. Yeah, sometimes, and this goes for when we're talking about, making apologies, giving forgiveness. Sometimes we sort of take for granted, or we think we know how somebody's going to be. And then they surprise us. So, all right, this is my bane. Let's see. Tater Tot 939 says, I started my process working toward conversion just a week after the high holidays last year. Went to the mikveh a few weeks ago. Mazel tov. So that's why I say this is my first time officially. I didn't go to services last year because I was very new to it all and wasn't sure I wanted to convert. But a year is sort of a very typical gestational period, I'll say. And so I think that's really remarkable that this year you can go and feel confident in who you are, I hope. And look, you'll learn, sometimes you'll feel a little bit of you'll feel like a little bit weird about it, but God willing, you'll get more comfortable with it over time. And that's exactly what I didn't want to do. Oh. Goodness gracious. Mario. Okay. This is probably getting boring for people, but I really feel like I have to get this done for the sake of Mayor Pauline. I'm going to keep at it till I get it. And when I do, it's going to be so sweet. Perseverance and discipline. Good old P&D. Hopefully that makes for all the coins that I lost while I was dying. Okay. Interesting. Maybe I've been going about this wrong the whole time. Let's see. Okay, getting on that. Maybe it's not about getting across. Maybe it's about getting up to that next level. Oh, well, I made it across anyway. Whew, let's see. Mazel Tov Tater Tot, and Tater Tot says, I don't think I've played this level yet. Have to see how you found it. Well, there's Mayor Pauline, so I must be on the right track. Wanted to give you a first-hand look at the problem down here at the power plant. Get it? Plants. Looks like that monster's friends need to be taught a new donk lesson. Okay, first off, got myself a power moon, which is kind of cool. Cappy's pretty happy for me. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the Jew Curious Show. I answer whatever questions you have about Judaism just as best as I can. And because it's Friday, we're having a little fun here on Fun Friday by answering Jewish questions while playing video games. We like to keep it family friendly. None of that Call of Duty, Fortnite business. If you like those games, you do you. I'm not going to yuck your yums. But just for the purposes of our channel, we like to keep it to ESRB 10 and up. So I find Mario Odyssey a great way to have all the frustrations of video game play with none of the, gratuitous gun violence. So let's see. Clifford Leon says, nice, sick. All right. Thank you. We got the power going, got the bands playing for the festival to begin. Now, I have played this before. Spoiler alert, we've got a music video coming on here. Oh, hey, how would you like to participate in the festival? Yes, of course I would like to participate in the festival. Shalom, Clifford Leon. Nice to see you here. Doop boop boop doop boop. Oh, participate in the festival. That means I got to jump through some Mario hoops here. Shalom, Clifford Leon. Thanks for joining us here on YouTube. We got people from YouTube, some folks from Facebook and Twitch joining us. We are multicasting and figured out a way. All it was like a little button hiding in the corner. I thought it was going to take some kind of technical equipment. Nope, just hit the button and we can see all our chats at once. So apparently Mayor Pauline is also a musical artist. Do, 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 do. Oh, now I know why they call it New Donk City. A little old school Mario combined with Donkey Kong, I suppose. Not going to worry about those coins. I got coins. I'll take that. All right, now let's see. I don't know about you, but this makes me a little bit nauseated here. Okay. All right, Mario Anti-Gravity. Try not to fall upwards into the fire. This reminds me of reading a book series. You know, you thought I was just a video game nerd. Clifford Leon says, thanks for having me. Do you play N64 Super Mario? Sorry, I know that's not related to your topic. That's okay. We're just having fun here on Fun Friday. No, N64, let's see. I had a good break. I had the original Nintendo system, the original Nintendo Entertainment System, playing regular old Super Mario Brothers. I missed out on N64 and the Super NES. But then I got into console games, you know, whoa. Got into console games when my sons were younger. I had an Xbox, the original Xbox, and I had to give that up so that I could make it through graduate school. Never would have gotten through rabbinical school if I had a console in my possession. So now that I'm fully through rabbinical school and I could use my console to teach Torah, I thought I'd get a Switch. It's fun for the kids. Nope. Oh. All right, this is going to be difficult. I'm down to one life. I don't want to go through the... Oh, and I was talking and I missed it. Now, 64 says, Rabbi, should one apologize for things they aren't responsible for doing? A power outage that caused their show to be canceled. So, you know, I am responsible for... I'm not responsible for the power outage. I also don't like making excuses. So you don't necessarily have to apologize for those things. What I do apologize for was I had a topic I wanted to teach. The internet went, and I played games for, you know, a good half an hour before I taught my topic. And so that's why I wanted to come back today and teach the topic. So I can't apologize for the power outage. I can apologize for not focusing on teaching what I wanted to teach, getting carried away with the video games. So I am responsible for that, and I am sorry for that. So that's why I wanted to come on and make up for it. You know, it was within my power to make up for that, and so I thought I'd go ahead and do that. But good question. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to apologize for stuff that's out of their control. You know, sometimes we say we're sorry even if we're not responsible. Usually, like especially when somebody passes away, you know, that's the one time you say you're sorry, even though you're not directly responsible for something. You could still say you're sorry that it happened. You know, you could still express regret or sadness on behalf of someone else, and that's okay. So I am sorry that there was a power outage, even though I was not responsible for that power outage. But I was responsible for not teaching what I wanted to, and so I came back. You know, human beings are not perfect, but each of us is, in some ways, perfectible. That I do believe in. Okay. Enough of all this gold collecting. So let's just try to get through this in one piece. Let's see. Really, like if your kid locks the keys in the car accidentally, that can happen. You know, and if that happened, I would certainly be sorry that that happened, even though I'm not directly responsible that it happened. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, can I please be done with this level now? It's supposed to be a party, not like Mario getting killed. All right. I'm going to time this very carefully. Probably should have saved that heart for when I really need it. And in just a minute, I'm really going to need it. All right, Donkey Kong. Oh, Donkey Kong. I'm done with you, Donkey Kong. Sorry about that, buddy. There's a new Donk City in town. Rabbi, can you remind us of the schedule for next Monday? Is there an AMA or not? Let's see. There is an AMA next Monday. But then, starting with Rosh Hashanah, there will not be one. So we are having thank you for that little PSA. We've been doing this pretty regularly on Mondays and Fridays. Next Monday, we're going to have an Ask Me Anything session on Monday. No video games. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. But so next Monday, there will be an AMA. However, the following Monday, so what's next Monday? Whatever day next Monday is, there's going to be an AMA. The following Monday, we're going to take a break from the Mondays for a while because Rosh Hashanah is on a Monday. The following Monday, I have to go to a Beit Din in the morning, so I can't do this. And then there's Sukkot and then Shmini Atzeret. So we're going to take a break from Mondays for a while. But thank God we'll continue to have Fun Friday. And yeah, Mario. Thank you again, Mario. I'm dedicating this festival to you. We couldn't have done it without your help. Oh, that's really nice, Mayor Pauline. Please accept this as a gift. I feel a power moon coming on. A multi-moon. Forget about it. Let's see. Do you listen to Drake? And do you think he follows his religion? Let's see. Hold on. I just want to look. Tater Tot, just because I'll come back to that question in a second. Tater Tot 939 says, totally unrelated topic, but I'm watching the news and someone drove a car through a mall that I live near, and I hope people are safe. So that's good to express that. There's a teaching of Rabbi Tolushkin who says anytime you hear an ambulance go by, you should say a prayer. And I'd like to follow that. Anytime an ambulance goes by, it's just a habit that I've developed. I say El Na Rafanallah, which is something that Moses said to pray for his sister Miriam's health. And then we got a question. Clifford Leon says, do you listen to Drake and do you think he follows his religion? So I do not listen to Drake. I don't have anything against Drake. I've just never gotten into Drake. You know, I have a friend of mine from rabbinical school was, knew Drake and, done some Jewish stuff with Drake. I think I can't speak to, I understand that he's Jewish, and I think that's cool that Drake is Jewish. Whether he follows his religion has a lot more to do with how he practices, how he feels about it, and I can't. I refuse to judge any other Jew for how they do Jewish. If they're hurting people, then I judge that. But for the most part, I know that he's Jewish. I know he feels good about it. I don't know anything about his observance, but I also don't know that. How do I want to say this? It's not for me to judge as to whether he follows his religion because I really don't know him at all personally. So, but I hear he's a nice Jewish boy. All right, so I need 3 more power moons to get out here. Wow, prayers to the people in the mall. Yes, I think he does. Just wanted a rabbi's point of view. Yeah, so I have literally zero idea about how Drake lives his Jewish life, so it's really not for me to say one way or the other. Oh, look, I found an acorn. I wonder where that might come in handy. Let's see, is there an acorn place around here? That's not an acorn place. Take that. Oh, there's a power moon in there. Maybe I could talk to this guy. How do I play remote control car? Hey, buddy. I did a remote control car right into a power moon. All right. Welcome to New Donk City, the Big Banana, no place like it. Do you know about the action guide? Yeah, show me. Yeah, I don't really want to learn that. Want a jump rope? Yeah, I do. Best two. You'll never hit 30 jumps. Yeah, no. Looks like I do have enough. Rabbi, I think your battery is running low. That's quite possible. When it runs out, I think we'll just call it a day. I'm going to go get some city threads. Get one of those. Buy that. Change now. Builder, buy. Change now. Okay, now I have a builder outfit. I think this lets me do stuff in the city. Let's see. Okay, let's see how this helps. Maybe I can get into a construction site, or else, you know, village people maybe. Yeah, I don't really want to do that. Whoop. So on the edge of the world there. I already got that power moon. Nice of that garbage can. Shabbat, now 64 says, Shabbat Shalom. Everyone got to go prepare for Shabbat dinner, right on. I have to go pretty soon too. I just remembered it's about time that I go visit my friend. I have a friend who I visit every Shabbat around 2 or every Friday around 2 o'clock. And I'm going to go see that person here in just a minute, as soon as I figure out what to do with this hard hat. Oh, there's a guy wearing a hard hat. Right now, nobody gets in there but the building inspector. I see that you are the inspector. Okay. Make that worthwhile. We'll play for another 5-10 minutes. I think D-Alex says, I think I'm going to go now. Shabbat Shalom, Lekulam. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Okay. I want to travel on this thing, but it looks kind of dangerous. Woohoo! Okay then. Nice of them. Kiddick says, thanks for stopping by. Good to see you, D-Alex and Nawa 64. Hope to see some of you on Monday. Great. I think that might be the last power moon I need. Oh, nope, still need one more. Let's see if I could get one more power moon before I sign off for Shabbat. Got a sermon to write, you know. Well, this looks like a place with no sign. Oh, I forgot about this. That's how you get through a crowd. All right. Nothing like taking a trip on an unmarked rocket ship. All your training? Really? That's a lot of training. Okay, I guess that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. There's got to be an easier power moon to get to. I'll try it one more time. No, I didn't get it. Okay. One more time. Third time's a charm. All right, we're going to sign off pretty soon from the Jew Curious Show. If you have any questions at all about the High Holy Days, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, how to say you're sorry, how to forgive people, we'll be talking more about that in the coming broadcasts. Today we talked about why it's important. It's more important to focus on what you're sorry for than focusing on what other people should be sorry for, even though I know we think about that quite a bit. But any questions you have about the High Holy Days or any other Jewish stuff, really? Okay then, this here's the real deal. So you say, pal. I'm just going to wait my turn here. Get it, turn. I knew there was a power moon around here somewhere. Boop, boop. Ah! Well, I'm really grateful to learn with everybody today, as always. You know, have a good time learning live on the internet. One way you can connect with us is here on this broadcast on Fun Friday. We're also here many Mondays. You know, we're going to take a Monday break for the holidays. We'll be here next Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 12 noon Eastern Time. Another way you can connect with us is at the Jew Curious School. Now, this is an online school that we put together, I want to say about last October, right around the end of October last year. And since then, we've recorded over 100 lessons. We have a weekly Torah class, a Parshat HaShavua class. That's the Torah portion of the week. We get together every week and discuss that live. We also record it so that if you miss the discussion, you can always go back and check it. It's usually a text sheet to study from with some Torah and some Mishnah and some Rashi and some other commentators like that. So we do that live every week. Another thing that we do is we have these mini courses in there where we talk about a specific subject, like the High Holy Days or like Teshuvah. We're doing a course right now where it's 2 lessons in Teshuvah and Mechila. That is, lesson 1 is as I'm sorry, which is, how to say you're sorry, how to make amends with people. Lesson 2 next week live is going to be how to say I forgive you. How do you forgive people even when you don't feel like it? Why that might be a good thing. And so that's one of our live courses that we do. All those courses are recorded. Every course we've done is recorded and in there for you to access right away. Unlimited all-you-can-eat buffet of Jewish classes. Another thing that we have in there is a full Introduction to Judaism course. We have 26 different lessons that take you through all the basics that you would need to know. Let's say, for example, if you were converting, but also if you just want a refresher course in Jewish things. Maybe you're already Jewish, but you want a refresher in why do we do some of the things that we do. So we have live classes every week. Sometimes we might have to take a little break during the holidays, but we have live classes every week. All of our live classes are recorded, and in the Jew Curious School, there's over 100 lessons at this point. I think it's like up to 110, something like that, and usually from like 30 to 60 minutes each. But my favorite part of the Jew Curious School is the community section. We have a community bulletin board that's you can access 24/7. I don't know when Shabbat is where you are, so anytime you can get on the community forum, talk to the other members of the school, check in with me if you have a specific question for me that you want to ask in public, or you can reach out to me privately through the school as well. So maybe you've got an issue that's pressing for you, but it's private, or you don't want to share it with other people. I'm happy to answer whatever questions I can there as well. So that's another thing you could do. Just check out, there's a link on Twitch. If you're watching us on Twitch, there's a link to the Jew Curious School, or you can go to, I think it's jewcurious.show/school, might get you there as well. So in any case, I wanted to let people know about it. Kay Dixie says the Jew Curious School was founded on October 22nd, I believe. Let's see. Yes, I think about joining our learning adventures. Kathy's in there. A lot of people in the chat are in there. Let's see. Kay Dixie says there was a Bim Bom video that mentioned forgiving oneself, but didn't say how that would work. Sometimes we're really hard on ourselves, and that's not necessarily the healthiest thing in the world for us to be. So sometimes you just got to say, John, buddy, self, I forgive you. Because you need to be able to move on from those things. So I highly suggest forgiving yourself, but not just yourself. There are other people you might want to forgive too. Can I get in there? I'm just trying to get in there. Just want to get in there. Okay. Maybe not. So we'll just hop on some folks. We'll play a little hop on pop. Maybe I can get in there. Maybe I can't. Okay. But right now we're going to get on the We're going to get on the Odyssey and see where we go, and then we're going to call it a day and say Shabbat Shalom. Whoop. Outdoor Cafe. Forget about it. Let's just zoom back there. Oop, here we go. So listen, everybody, if you've joined us today, if you've had any questions at all, or if you've just been lurking, that's cool too. You can always lurk. Love to hear where people are coming from. But however you want to engage with this community, that's entirely up to you. I'm going to show up no matter what. But for everybody who showed up today, whether you were in the chat or just watching, I'm so grateful to you. I'm always grateful to share about the Jewish tradition, about Jewish wisdom. I'm really grateful to the people who are in the chat because everybody's so kind to each other. Everybody really, shares questions from the heart, supports one another, shares resources here. And so, yep, got a little battery, so we're going to sign off for the day. But so grateful to you for showing up today, for having a little fun with us on Fun Friday, for learning about making amends with people, and anything you want to know about the high holidays, just hit me up. I'll be back on this channel, live streaming to Twitch, to YouTube, and to Facebook, and watching the chat from all of those places. So glad that worked out. I'll be back on Monday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 noon Eastern, and let's just see where the Odyssey is going to take us before we peace out. So Tater Tot 939 says Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Fork in the road. Should we go to the Snow Kingdom or the Seaside Kingdom? Let's take a quick vote, and then we'll sign off, and we'll join that next time. So, any opinions? Snow Kingdom, Seaside Kingdom. Snow Kingdom, Seaside Kingdom. What's your vote, chatters? Let's see. Kay Dixie says, wishing you all a lovely Shabbat. Snow Kingdom, I'm going to pick. I need somebody in the chat to chime in. Help me pick this out. Snow Kingdom, Seaside Kingdom. All right, Seaside Kingdom it is. So thanks everybody for joining me. We're going to travel to the Seaside Kingdom next time on Fun Friday. And with that, I'm just going to go back into the control booth here while Mario makes his way to the Seaside Kingdom. And we're going to say goodbye to Mario's Odyssey, and we'll see him next time. So thank you so much for joining. Always grateful to learn with you. If you weren't there to learn, I couldn't be here to teach. So, and this is my favorite thing in the world to do. So until next time, heroes, Shabbat Shalom to everybody, and peace.